As we all know, due to globalization, globalization actually hasn't only resulted in more trade and more people moving around in terms of tourism. As we all know, even within South Africa, in the past decade or so, a lot of international markets have opened up to us, and we see a lot of tourists coming to our country. And indirectly, this has resulted in creation of pathways for invasive alien species to enter our country. And because we are now participating in the global arena, we also contracting party to various international agreements, which therefore makes us obligated to put in place measures aimed at managing invasive alien species in the country. Namely, these are the OIE, which is basically an international agreement that is aimed at protecting animals from alien invasive species. And then the IPPC, as you can see, that is really focused on plant health issues. And then we also have the sanitary and phytosanitary agreement, which is under the WTO, which is basically more focused on ensuring that countries do not use arbitrary measures. That is, they don't use very strict measures in order to affect trade between countries. Therefore ensuring that there is fair trade internationally. And there's also the Convention on Biodiversity, which is the CBD, which is aimed at protecting biodiversity from invasive species. Now, in the context of South Africa, these international agreements are implemented by different departments. For example, the OIE is implemented by the Department of Health, the IPPC is implemented by the Department of Agriculture, and the CBD is implemented by the Department of Environmental Affairs. Therefore, this makes management of invasive alien species a very tricky issue in the country because of this lack of coordination and different mandates that the government is working under. Now, going at a national level, we have the Constitution, specifically Section 24, which talks to the protection of the environment. And from the Department of Environmental Affairs side, we have the National Environment Management Act, and something that is equivalent to that is for example, from the Department of Agriculture is the Agricultural Pest Act. And we also have the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act, better known as the NEMBA, of which Chapter 5 of that Act talks to the management of invasive alien species. And I will later on talk to the recently published regulations, which are aligned to the NEMBA Act, Chapter 5 of the Act. To showcase that the department is how should I put this? Is thank you. Dedicated in managing invasive alien species. In 2013, it created the Directorate Biosecurity, which I'm heading. Basically, the Directorate provides strategic leadership and overall management of the implementation of biosecurity services. And when I talk biosecurity services, I'm referring to systems, that is the required legislation and the implementation thereof. So it's both development of legislation and implementing of the legislation, which is aimed at managing invasive alien species. And in order to ensure that we comply with the targets of the CBD, specifically target